You speak about the state to be had. What is the state to be had?
The state to be had is the experience of indescribable joy, also known as the bliss of the self. So that is the state to be had, but not just the glimpse. So in life, many people have glimpses of joy. This is true even before anyone decides to take up sadhana under a spiritual guru. For example, I used to go hiking a lot and mountain climbing, and I loved going to Vermont to do that. And I would climb mountains like Killington, which is a very tall peak for Vermont, and I'd climb to the summit and I'd look out over the rest of the world, so to speak, because Killington is high enough that you can see almost the rest of the state of Vermont in three directions. And my mind would stop. I was just in this state of awe. And when the mind stops, joy wells up automatically. But that was just a glimpse. I didn't know how to sustain that experience. Another example, I've been to the Grand Canyon. And so each time I went, looking out over this huge, vast canyon on this tiny little bridge that people step on to be able to look out over the canyon, it's an amazing experience. And every time I've done that, my mind has stopped temporarily. And again, when the mind stops, joy wells up spontaneously. So I had a glimpse of this joy. So I've had these kinds of experiences in a number of different ways. Listening to music that I really enjoy. This is even before I took up sadhana, that if I really enjoyed the piece of music, it would shock my mind into silence temporarily, and I had the experience of joy. So these are glimpses. Glimpses are not the focus of the attainment here. Here, a state to be had is a state in which you experience indescribable joy, the bliss of the self, in an uninterrupted fashion. That you have this experience and it's never interrupted, even as you go about your daily mundane activities. Now, to get to that point, there's a gradual expansion that occurs based on sadhana. You have to be performing an instructed spiritual practice that's given by a Siddha Guru after the receipt of Shaktipat. I've spoken about Shaktipat in other videos. I won't go into length about Shaktipat here, except to say that it is the difference that makes the difference. Shaktipat is the grace-bestowing power of God that is transmitted by a Shaktipat Siddha Guru, a living guru. And upon the receipt of Shaktipat, there is a process that begins. We call it the Shaktipat Kriya process, also known as sadhana. And this process involves literally cleaning house, cleaning out that entire world of your inner impressions that I spoke about in the previous video, beginning to destroy all the karmas that dictate your mental conditioning so that you can, over time, doesn't happen all at once, but over time, so that you can be free of all of your past and present karmas. This is one of the trademarks or hallmarks of a Siddha Guru, that such a guru has the ability to burn away all your karmas. And so the practice, which is what the devotee is responsible for, right? You are responsible for taking up the practice as instructed. The guru takes care of the rest. But you have to put in the time with respect to the practice. And here the practice is the following. Your duty from day to day, as part of your sadhana, is to experience as many moments of indescribable joy as possible in a 24-hour period. That's all you have to focus on. People make the mistake of thinking about what's going to happen weeks and months or years into the future as they begin to take up their sadhana, or they continue to look back into the past for what experiences they had or they didn't have. And this is a mistake. Here, the instruction is to be fully present with the self from moment to moment for as many moments in one 24-hour period. You wake up, and from the time you wake up and you begin your day until the time that you rest your head on your pillow to go to sleep, the duty is to have as many moments of indescribable joy as possible, just for that one 24-hour period. And if you don't have that experience in one moment, you know there's another moment coming. And so the duty on the part of the devotee or the student is to practice as instructed, to have as many moments of the bliss of the self, the indescribable joy that I've just mentioned, have as many moments as possible in a 24-hour period. And as you increase the number of moments in which you experience the indescribable joy of the self, as you have that expansion, more and more moments, eventually over time, that experience becomes uninterrupted. And that is the state to be had. Do you have any additional questions connected to this?
Yes. Who can have the state to be had?
Anyone. Anyone. So all are worthy. If you are taking up a spiritual practice, you can have this experience. If you have received Shaktipat and you're now pursuing sadhana under the instruction of a Siddha Guru who gave you Shaktipat, you can have this experience. People have the experience when they're engaged in prayer, even without having received Shaktipat. That's how you know it's possible. The issue with everyone I know who engages in prayer who has not received Shaktipat is that, again, it's just a glimpse. So more is required, but still, even that is an indication that by praying, people can experience indescribable joy. Even though it's a glimpse, that tells us it's possible for anyone. Anyone can have this experience. Anyone can receive Shaktipat from a Siddha Guru. Anyone can take up sadhana, and it's something that we encourage everyone to do for this reason, because existence should be a matter of bliss. That's what happiness is. The indescribable joy of the self. That experience is what happiness is. And everyone deserves to be happy. Everyone. Not just human beings, even a dog deserves to be happy. Even insentient beings deserve to be happy. But certainly all human beings deserve to be happy and are worthy of it. Here's the problem. People look for happiness where it is not. That's the issue. It's like you live right on a beach next to the ocean, but when you look for water, you go looking for it in a desert where you're never going to find it. This is the major challenge, even for people who are spiritually inclined, even for people who are leading spiritual lives, even for people who are performing sadhana. This is the challenge. Don't look for happiness where it does not exist. Happiness exists inside you, within your own being. And the experience of happiness can be heightened to the point where you seek happiness more and more. You want to taste that happiness more and more and more, and then you want to drown in it. That happens as a result of Shaktipat and the performance of sadhana, daily spiritual practice as instructed by a Siddha Guru. This is my experience personally. This is also the experience of so many people who have come and have begun to engage Nityananda Shaktipat Yoga. Any other questions?
Thank you. No, not at the moment.
Very good. And thank you for your questions. Nam